This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
As we talk now with Nate Olson from Scorebook Live on our McClarty Daniel hotline. Good afternoon, Nate. I mean, you got games to watch, just not as many as you might be used to.
Yeah, selfishly, as media people, we maybe don't like the week 0 as much because sometimes 0 week and then week 3 are not as, populated. And we've seen a lot of teams not playing this week. So from a coverage perspective and a scoreboard show perspective, you're probably going to hear me talk a little bit more tonight. So if you want to turn it off when I'm on there, go ahead. We may not have as many calls from people tonight, but there's still some good games and around the state. We've got our 10 games to watch. You can check that out on scorebooklive.com/Arkansas.
Yeah, but you know what, Nate? People don't have to worry about you guys filling any dead air or anything like that. I mean, if you don't have enough words, your co-host Rex Nelson can fill airtime with the best.
Oh, Rex is a cornucopia of knowledge. He's a guy. I don't think I've known anybody that can go to probably 3 or 4 different topics and be an expert on those: politics, food,
Steven
state of
Seagal.
Arkansas. Yeah, I mean he's great, a great friend. I love being on the air with him, but. We will have maybe a few less calls, but there'll be some good games to talk about and some topics of interest, too, as we go into the conference season next week, and everybody will be playing.
Well, obviously, the major topic is the injury to Kane Archer. Tell us what happened and how long you think he might be out.
Yeah, it was a wrist injury that he sustained in the blowout of Mountain Home last week. Still managed to throw for I think around 160 yards and a couple touchdowns and limited work in the first half. It was obvious at the game that he had hurt his arm or wrist. He was in some kind of ear cast, and I got confirmation that it is a wrist injury. He may have to he is going to be out tonight, and he may be back next week, probably going to be back and may have to wear some sort of cast or protection on that wrist. It's the non-throwing wrist. And we saw this with Brandon Cobb. He's the quarterback at PA. He hurt his thumb and may have broken it, and he's playing with a cast, but it's on his non-throwing hand. So, really essentially he needs that to receive the ball on the snap and keep it protected where it doesn't get stepped on and stuff like that. But it's not going to affect his throwing motion. So he was out a week, came back. I think this is kind of a similar situation. So they don't expect it to be a long-term thing. And this is the point in the schedule where they can afford to have him not out there. They're playing Siloam Springs tonight. They beat them 10 years in a row. Siloam, not one of the powers of the conference. So that bodes well for him to be out, and they should roll again. They're working on 60-game winning streak at home. I think they're like 55, 56, and they'll probably get to 60 this year. So, really, Greenwood, you can't say enough about them. And really, I think right now the 6-day favorite. And, you've got the Archer brothers, Kane and Cash. Cash, great linebacker. His stock is through the roof. They're both going to Arkansas tomorrow. Going to be official visitors there. So that'll be worth noting to see how that all goes. And we should have coverage of that on FC Live on Sunday.
Nate, give me a game that if I'm just around, Fort Smith, Greenwood area, Charleston area, Ozark area, give me a game to go watch tonight.
Well, there's not a lot of, like I said, there's not a lot of games in that area. I think you might have to go up the hill, Matt.
Give me one up there. Give me one in Northwest Arkansas. Yeah.
Yeah, go to Bentonville and check out Rockhurst, Kansas City against Bentonville. The Bentonville has been good in this series, 4 straight, but Rockhurst is a top 10 type team in Missouri. They're known for football there. It just shows you how good Bentonville is. But while you're there, you can watch C.J. Brown, who is an Arkansas commit, great receiver. Probably he and Courtney Crutchfield, also an Arkansas commit, 2 of the better receivers in the state, 2 of the better receivers in the region and maybe the country. Electric guy, hooks up with Carter Nye, who is a very, very good high school quarterback, probably a small college recruit. They've got a good offensive line. This is going to be a good high school football game. A lot of talent on the field. Would be worth your drive up the hill if you can swing that.
Let's see. I saw Bryant lost last weekend to Parkview. They've been such the dominant program in 7A. Do you think somebody can break through in the 7A this year?
They're still my favorite to win it. And this has been, you can go to our podcast. I know I'm doing a lot of shameless plugging this week, but our podcast.
It's okay. That's what you're here. That's what you're here to do. That's why radio spots.
Yeah,
exist.
I appreciate the platform. Thank you. Well, if you go to our podcast, Kyle and I, Sutherland, who's a great reporter for us, we have a good discussion about this. Kyle only dropped in the rankings to 2. There were several rankings where they dropped, even in 7A to like 4 or 5. It's one game, and first give lots of credit to Parkview. They were well coached. They have athletes all over the field. Before that game, I said on a couple different outlets, Parkview is a threat to score in every facet of the game. That's how Bryant's been the last couple of years. Pick sixes, kickoff returns, punt returns. Very explosive. That's how Parkview is. And what did they do? Right before the half, Bryant's kind of struggling with them, and they get on track, score a touchdown. And that ensuing kickoff, Parkview brings it back for a touchdown. Really the key of the game, because Bryant has some momentum. Parkview scores. Bryant mishandles an extra point. It's 28-27. Bryant held them scoreless in the second half. So all is not doom and gloom. Good things come to an end. Parkview's a great team. And I think if Parkview plays Bentonville, if they play Conway, if they play Fayetteville, they can beat them. Is it going to be 10 out of 10? No. It'll be 10 out of 10 with Bryant? No. But on a given night, they are very, very athletic and very electric. But I do think that shows, they are human. They lost. And that was something we kind of wondered for a while. So I think some people are, thinking, well, they're not as good, but still loaded. And the week before, they beat a team in Missouri, Christian Brothers, who is in their top 5 in Missouri, one of the more highly regarded teams in the Midwest. They beat them by 2 touchdowns. So they're not hitting the panic button there. They're still our favorite to win it until somebody beats them. And I think that they will be. I think this is going to be some fuel on the fire, because they've taken a lot of heat this week from people saying, well, how did you lose to a 5A school? And there's been a lot of criticism of them. And I think that all the kids have seen that, and it could be bulletin board material for them. But there's no doubt that Bentonville and Fayetteville have good teams. Bentonville very, very narrowly lost to Conway, and Fayetteville's putting up some video game type numbers. Last year they were kind of doing that, and then they ran into Conway in the playoffs. So that's something that they have to figure out, is how they can counteract the physicality and the speed of a Conway and Bryant. But really like their ball club, and I'm going to be interested to see when they face off in a couple weeks. It'll probably likely be for conference championship, but you've also got Rogers, who's 3-0, really good under Chad Harbison, and they might have something to say about it too.
I see Hot Springs is going on the road. How's that matchup?
Little Rock Southwest, a team that we feel like is on the rise. Daryl Patton, you remember him, Matt?
Yes, sir.
Fayetteville.
Yeah.
He had a stop off at Bauxite, and now he's there at Little Rock Southwest, the new school in Little Rock. Great facilities. He has 4 guys, including Derek Murdoch, a linebacker, who are Division I recruits. Has opened up the passing game now. They were running a run-oriented offense, but they got a transfer in from Parkview Forte, who is a passing-type dual-threat quarterback, and that's only going to help them get more players to come there. It's a big game for them confidence-wise, because the 7A Central's so good, and they haven't done well the last few years starting the program. So a win tonight would be a lot of confidence for them. Those that are listening, Hot Springs, know all about Matthew Contreras. He is a very underrated quarterback, threw for 8 touchdowns last year against Southwest, and when they beat him in Hot Springs. So this is going to be a good game. A lot of athleticism, a lot of speed. Daryl Burnett is a Buck James disciple at Hot Springs, and has them just on the cusp probably of being a deep 5A playoff type team. He's been with Buck since Camden days. So a lot of the 212 stuff that Buck does, it's evident there. I saw him play at Hot Springs last year. Great atmosphere. He's got that program moving in the right direction. So both these teams looking to end the non-conference season on a high note. It should be a good game.
Let's see. I'll put you on the spot with a couple of games here. Calvert in Boonville wants to know about Magazine versus Berryville. You got any info on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably take Magazine in that one. They've both those teams, I think, have Magazine was good, several years ago, and but neither one has been, a deep playoff run. I covered Magazine in the state championship probably 10 years ago. They've had some good success, but probably go with Magazine in that one.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.